Hello, pickup truck race fans. All right, if that's the thing. This is a Tarmac Works of the winner of the 2019 Finke Rally Desert Race. I'm not sure. Is Fink or Finke? Not sure. It's a 2-day race that takes place in the Northern Territory of Australia. The race originally originated in 1976 as from the Alice Springs Motorcycle Club, and it was a race between Alice Springs, Australia, to a small Aputula Finke community. I am just reading the internet, so bear in mind all this could be wrong and it's definitely not pronounced correctly. The race is held each year on the Queen's birthday, which is a long weekend in June. And in this 2019 race, 60 of the 143 vehicles didn't even finish within the time limit. So this Toyota did a good job. It actually won. I haven't seen... Oh yeah, I have seen this before. I question if it's legit, the limitation of this. You know, one would assume there might be 10,000 of these out there, but I don't know. Really fast racing background there, a safety net or some sort. And then we have, you know, what the vehicle is, the part number of the product. Standard stuff there. And then, you know, there's a screw, QC2. It's always QC2. So this might have problems. If you watch the history of my Tarmac Works videos, anytime I have a problem with this brand, it's QC number 2. So this thing actually has a blister trying to protect the stuff on the top there, so I guess that's nice. As you can see, there's really delicate mud flaps. This tow hook there. I'm not going to take this off the stand because I know I'm going to break one of those mud flaps off because I've broken them off my CM's models, and the CM's ones are thicker than these, so I'm going to have to leave this on the stand here, guys. So these pictures are of the real vehicle, I guess. This is from that race. This is from a Yokohama website. Apparently this thing is running Yokohama Geolanders. So there we go. And then I'm not sure where this photo came from, but it's got the 881 on the top. And I gotta say, it looks very much like that photograph. And I think this is another Geolander pic here, flying about. So I don't know, I couldn't find any website about this actual truck racing. So all I know is a regular Hilux sold in Australia in 2019. They all had 4 cylinders, either petrol or diesel, between 2.4 to 2.8 cylinders. I would have guessed these things would be running 6 cylinders, but I guess fuel economy. But I'm not sure if this race truck, you know, if they swapped out the engine or what, or if it's actually more of a stock vehicle. So if anyone knows, anyone Australian, please leave a comment. So the base itself is nice, you know, it has the livery of the Toyota Racing development, so that's kind of nice that it matches. It is a little odd that it doesn't say winner, you know, it's clearly the winning truck, so strange that it doesn't actually tell you that it won the race. Let's start with the side. Let's start with these wheels. So these Geolanders, the printing is quite nice. Let me get this front wheel. So for those people willing to take this off the base, there's no friction in this thing, so with no rubbing against the diecast, I'm quite sure this thing would roll quite nicely. And you know, the black wheels, they're nice and all, but I do feel like they don't actually match those photographs now that I think of it. That side photo I pulled up are not these wheels, but I'm not sure if that side photo, maybe they ran different wheels throughout the race. But I do feel like here, this section I'm touching, that's probably hollow on the real wheel, but Tarmac Works blanked it off, you know, for durability. At least they got the rest of it hollow. And then you can see there's a brake system back there. It's silver, And is there a caliper? Let me focus on the front wheel here. Hit focus again. I think there's a caliper way back there. It's towards the door. I don't think you're going to be able to see it. I can't see it through my camera screen. The screen's too small. But to the naked eye, well, I can't even see the rear caliper. You can't see a rear caliper, but if there's one in the front, I would assume it's probably there. But I can't see it. Okay, so now you can, see how thin those mud flaps are. They're very, very thin. So I'm very afraid to touch them. And then, as typical of most of these modern brands, they use decals for a lot of these sponsorships. But let me see. I'm really hoping I'm wrong on this one. I don't know if I see any wrinkliness between these letters. And also, like this red. I don't know if that's a decal or not. I think it is, because on the top here, right here, you can see the wrinkliness, right? And it's even coloring across on the white. So I think this entire hood is covered in a decal, so yeah, that definitely wouldn't be paint. It would be much smoother if that was paint, but it's all a decal. It's really well applied, give them credit there. I just hope that the stuff doesn't crack in the future. On top of the decal, there's actually separate foil hood pin latches, and they're quite well detailed. See? That's pretty neat. They're kind of three-dimensional. Now you can really see the wrinkliness of the decal. So, yeah, to the naked eye, it was actually hard to tell. But under this magnification, it comes up a lot clearer. Now that red stripe on the side is clearly a decal. Alright. So the headlight, while we're here, is really nice. Obviously it's a clear lens, but if we look through that, you can see the dimensionality of the light bucket. There's like a little light bulb on the inside. There's a big, probably the plastic peg maybe is creating that large circle. And then there's also like something on the front back side of the clear here, like a little rectangle. Hold on, this pick looks like it's worn out. I keep a bunch of picks handy, so this is a new pick with a sharp tip. That's a recess. It's painted black. We have a skid plate here. Seems alright. These little silver things you see on the bottom are those brake pieces, so those stay stationary as the rest of the tire spins. And while we're here, you can see the tire treads here. They look pretty good. And in fact, the sidewall blocks do look good. They look like off-road truck tires. What I hate is when I see these types of tread blocks on sports cars and regular passenger vehicles. But naturally, on a truck like this, it should have aggressive treads from the side, from like that. So very good. And it's a little, I was thinking of complaining the slab-sidedness, but it's not slab-sided. Only this part is flat, but you can see the tire does curve in quite a bit into the wheel and also around to the treads. So it's a pretty three-dimensional tire. I wonder if they make these sections flat so it's easier to print the text on. That might be why it's done that way. I'm just looking at the photo of that side, the real photograph, and the real tires are very curved, there's no flat spot. But I'm guessing they might make these flat spots so they can try to print this stuff better. If it's a curved surface, it's going to be harder to get this text on it, right? So, whatever, I guess it works. I like to know how models are made. So, sorry, we're kind of back to the side here, but there's a little printing here of the sliding windows, which is nice. The door handles are sticking out, and this decal here is doing a good job of getting around the door handle. I'm not sure if this red is painted on or if it's another decal, because it looks like there's an oval opening in the decal for the door to go through, the door handle, that is. The driver's names here are almost legible. That's as far as I can zoom. I guess you can make out those. I'm having a hard time with the Japanese name up top. Murray Hines, maybe, is the bottom name. Anyways, the black molding of these windows is three-dimensional and obviously painted pretty well. No overrun. The side mirrors here are nicely molded. They actually have like that little side blinker detail. Although maybe on the race truck they don't have. Well, I think they do have clear lenses on the side, on that side photo. We have a reflective sticker in that mirror as well. Alright, so that finished up that side. Going back to the front, I'm going to try to get a different angle here and hope I don't drop this thing. There we go. So we have some nice textures here. This is probably part of the casting. This texture is so fine, I have a feeling this grill might be a separate plastic piece. And there's some black printed, some red printed. I don't know what my problem is with English. I think I'm dyslexic, guys. I very often, think one thing and I spit out some other words. So, it's weird. It happened in my Maserati Mirac review. I was literally reading 1983 and I said 1973 as far as when the production of that car ended. So, bear in mind, I think I might be dyslexic. Alright, so going to the top here again. I guess we saw that, but what's weird is these wiper blades. It's nice that they're three-dimensional and they're black, but they seem really short. This is a big windscreen. I kind of feel like the blades would be longer. It's a real nitpick, but it wouldn't make a difference as far as the ability to mold this. It's just strange to see such short wiper blades on a windscreen that big. And it's quite oily, this windscreen, or something. I never touched this. It just came right out of the box, right? I don't know why that windscreen looks like it's covered in oil. There's like an antenna here, which is nice. It's quite a three-dimensional antenna. It's a molded piece, obviously. It's not a piece of metal. And then I do like this. This is a piece of photo etched metal painted and printed. Though that is extremely thin, as you can see, just as thin as those mud flaps. So that's really cool. Let's get around to this side here. This snorkel here is a separate plastic piece. Let me back out a little bit. Yeah, alright. The rest of the side here seems okay. Curious if the end of the snorkel has some sort of opening. It does not. It might be hard because it's black, but it seems to just be a flat surface there. Yeah, no depth. It would have been really impressive if they did. I didn't expect it to. Okay, I'm just seeing in the rear wheel if I can see a brake caliper, since I couldn't see on the other side. No, I still don't see one. Nope, I do not. Oh well, at least there's silver back there. Okay, wrapping around to the back, and this is where a lot of the action seems to be happening as far as the details go. The mud flaps have the TRD printed on them. And I want to make note here, I looked at 3 models at my local shop. Maybe it was more than 3, maybe 5. And all of them had somewhat crooked mud flaps. None of them were perfectly perpendicular to this flat bottom edge. They all had a little cant inwards. So these two are actually both canted inwards, and so that's why I chose this one. There was another one where this was more flat and this was canted. That's the way most of them were. So if you end up buying this online or something like that, just keep in mind these might not be perfectly perpendicular to that, or this edge won't be perfectly parallel to the bumper. I pity the people that have to make these things. They don't care. If I had to put these things on models all day long, I would stop caring after the first one, because I know how hard it is to get that aligned properly. Okay, well, I really not sure why there would be a tow hook on a race truck like this, unless this literally has to like support itself somehow and maybe get to the check-in points pulling a trailer or something, or maybe it's just there knowing that it's going to get stuck in some mud or something and it's just easier to pull out. I don't know, it's kind of interesting. You know, if it's in the back, one would think there'd be like a really easy access tow hook in the front just as well, right, to get it pulled out of something, but I don't see one on the front. Alright, so let's see, the taillights here, they are transparent red, so that's nice, and yet they have this little rectangular backup light in them, so that's really good. Let's guess what this stuff is. This looks like a floor jack. You know, it doesn't have the handle sticking out, but it does look like a floor jack, and it's molded pretty well. It's like this middle piece is a separate piece, so it looks like it can go up. That could have been molded a lot lazier. What is this? It's just a silver box. Maybe those are hinges. Maybe it's a toolbox or something like that. And then on this side, there seems to be like a metal rail. It's just I'm wondering down here. I don't see. I thought it might be one of those high lift jacks. Maybe it is supposed to be the end of a high lift jack, but the rest of it's under there. I don't know. I can't see in there. Let me try to go. No, I don't know. Just might be a tie down or a grab rail. It's got two pegs going into the top of the wheel well. Alright, the tires here. Much better view of the treads. I'm assuming those are the same tires. Oh, now this is quite interesting. These wheels are not the same casting, right? These are clearly a different style than what's on the truck. So I think I answered my question about it running different wheels. It's just that neither of these wheels actually match that one photograph I pulled up. Maybe there's a third set of wheels we don't know about. So anyways, that's a lot of work on their part to have two different wheels, right? Unless these maybe are on a different model. I'm assuming they must have other liveries using this molding here. Giant fuel cell, and then these little things are raised and they have like rivet marks. I'm assuming this has to be a fire extinguisher. And then two giant fans. Why would those be there? I don't know much about truck racing, guys. I don't know much about anything, really. So please leave a comment. Why would there be two giant fans there if there's nothing underneath them? You know, if there's like a box down here with like batteries or something like that, I could maybe understand. But why would you vent something this short? Okay, well, we still have another metal 881 badging here, you know, so that's great. And then I'm gonna assume this is a decal here in the back window. And that, unfortunately, it's distorted, but you can see there's something shiny inside that interior. So that's kind of cool. Speaking of which, let's try to get a look in that interior. It's going to be hard with that printing on the outside, but and the fact that it's black. But if I get the flashlight out, so we have a right-hand drive. I think you can see the instrument cluster actually has gauges there. Yeah, I see a gauge there. I don't see anything printed on the steering wheel. Boy, why is it so hard to get a flashlight into the window when the thing is so close? Roll cage is definitely present. You can see the light is actually shining through the black of the window molding. You know, there it's black. But without the light, it does look opaque. Let me try the other side. And actually, let me try to shine through the back window and then focus. No, I don't think that's better. Okay, well, maybe here. I can't go any further, that's 4 times magnification. So the center console is a bunch of, you know, dials, the HVAC, radio or something like that. It's that thing on the top. Is that like some additional computer? Maybe it's one of those inclinometers or something like that. And then, yeah, the instrument binnacles. It seems to have like blue gauges. Is there a rear view mirror? I can't. Maybe. I think there is a rear view mirror right there. That was probably the shiny thing we saw through the back glass. So now, are there rear seats? I see some ribbing on the back wall of the interior. So I would have to assume there's no rear seats, being a race truck. So I think that's supposed to be like the gutted, stamping of the back wall. Now, I see some red there in the seats, so I think there actually are red harnesses. Tarmac's really good with that. Yep, there we go. So we do have some red seat belts. There's the buckle. Yeah, some sort of branding. I can't make out the branding. I think that might say TRD or something. Even still, I assume that's TRD, or I can't zoom any further. So they're definitely racing seats. They're not just standard passenger seats, so that's cool that Tarmac swapped those out. Alright, let's see, is there anything else? What? Sorry. I think there might be printing on the frame. Now, see that silver stuff behind the tire? I thought that was actually some sort of printing. I think is this extra paint or a lack of paint. It's doubtful, but let me just see if there's any suspension on this thing. I've never heard of a Tarmac having suspension. No, I can't move that up. It's a solid axle. The skid plate, it's pretty good. I mean, it's plastic, so it has to be that thick. I suppose they could have made it out of metal, but still, this is fine. But on the front photograph, I do see a rectangle here. I'm assuming that rectangle might be an opening for perhaps a winch, but there's no rectangle here, so that's a bit lacking. And also, there's supposed to be some bolts here, so they didn't print anything on the skid plate. Oh, this red thing is supposed to say TRD, now that I'm looking at that jumping photograph. And I guess I can see a D. The T is kind of missing something, but... Alright, that's a lot. Wow, it's 23 minutes here, but, if there's a lot of details, I want to see all of them. That's what I'm paying for. I had no intention of getting this when I saw the promotional announcement of this vehicle. But after looking at it at the shop, I'm just like, wow, this thing has a lot going on. And so I bought it, and I'm happy I got it. Let me pull out the spin coaster. Alright, I got it on the slowest rotation setting, so you can actually see the details. I know a lot of times it's very blurry. So I guess we'll throw out this pickup here by M2 Machines. It's a 76 GMC truck, and it's raised. It's that Desert Fox livery. It's not bad, for the price of an M2 Machines. I think it would be better without the opening hood feature, but everything else I'm pretty happy with. Let's try a different brand. We're going to go even bigger. The good old Bigfoot from 1974, and that's by Greenlight. That's a cool model for the price of a Greenlight. That thing's really cool. This is the chrome blue one. I missed out on the original blue one. Bringing things back down to more normal size, we have the Tarmac Works Hobby of a Land Rover Defender 110. I guess we don't need that anymore. So, I think Tarmac Hobbies this is a fantastic Tarmac Works Hobby. There's clearly a lot of extra parts and details. But I'm really a big fan of Tarmac Globals as well. They have, really good paint. They're missing the brake systems, but for the price, I'm pretty happy to, let that detail go. And especially with wheels like that, you would never see the brakes anyways. So I like both offerings. I like the fact that Tarmac has 2 lines of products. And then, just since I don't get to show it off too often, because I don't really collect trucks too often, my little Moon SUV, which is an extremely long project. If you want to search that one, I have a video on the making of that thing. So that's a big SUV I designed. It's meant to be like a 6, well, it's meant to be like an 8-passenger van that goes off-road, although there's only 6 seats in this one. Alright, let us get this thing spinning on its own. Since it's on the plinth, I guess I'll just leave it on this guy here. There's not much to really say other than the fact that this is a fantastic model. If you watch my Tarmac reviews, I'm very often let down with quality control problems, but one of the reasons why I go to my local shop is I can look at them. And so out of the few that this person was selling, this was the best one. And so I can't complain. If there's a problem with it, it's because I wasn't paying attention. But no, this one is pretty much perfect, right? Was there anything that I actually found QC-wise wrong? I don't think there was. So, very happy. That's very rare. So, okay. Well, anyways, if you like Toyota trucks or racing vehicles, and you're willing to spend a little extra money, this is definitely worth it, I think. I mean, this thing is just jam-packed full of details, so if you're a nitpicker like me, yeah, I think you'll appreciate this one. So thank you, Tarmac Works. I'm not going to bash on you guys today, and I'll definitely pick up more of your models in the future. I like the subjects that you guys do. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next review. Bye. Race on.